Bluetooth mode. Bluetooth connection.
Hello, and welcome to Proud Wisdom with the dude, guy, fight the bad guy. The bad guy's not good. The bad guy wants you to like music that makes you want to rape and kill and kidnap and sell drugs, but also be very loud and boastful. And you can't be part of the underground crime world and be boastful and loud and be talking about your shit, you know? Don't be working like that, frankly. So you just be thinking, you be acting. 1:11. You got the clock on the TV stand, the entertainment stand. You got a cool retro looking, analog. Is that analog? Yeah, analog clock. You got the Cure, Robert Smith, made on a vinyl from the Cure. The vinyl clock. I think that I have to like fix that. I don't know if that's like daylight saving times, whatever. But you got the alarm clock that survived the fiery death storm, and all that broke on it was the battery section where you put the 9 volt thing. So I can't like have it unplugged because I'll just have to like reset it if I lose power or something. But that's like a trademark item of mine spiritually. Is I'll try to take the photo of it saying 420 no matter like if it's day or night, and to take that photo and post that. It's funny, 420 photo, but I am under the influence of marijuana, cigarettes, and cocaine. I got the cocaine. I did do it. Don't tell anyone. You know what I mean? And it's really nice. It's making me feel good. It's making me feel calm. Collectively, those uppers get in my brain since I was affected by the government's brainwashing at a young age. For all that Ritalin and shit, it turns me into the machine mind. I have the ability to make some pretty interesting music, which is how I made the Ascension album for the Bad Weekend thing back in the day. Is it just was playing Armored Core 2, and I was like, fuck, let's make some like a deathcore EDM shit. Let's make rap about being a robot with an electronical heart, because Dance Gavin's Dance, young robot and robot with human hair, was a pretty cool concept to me. Sometimes I get a little upset that I don't have contact with like Eli Brunner from Star Rats Live Evil anymore, because I could reach out to him, but he was going through some stuff, and I was like doing nothing wrong, I guess, just trying to have him get the recordings done, but he was going through his shit, and I can understand that. Being an artist is tough. Sometimes you get consumed by the stress and you need to cope it out like the chefs do, and that show The Bear. And I don't know, he has that puppeteering shit. He makes like puppets and shit and claymation. I might even try talking to him right now, honestly. But it's like he had some similar problems that other people had with him, with me. But he was cool as fuck. Besides that, March. And that's the thing is I like working with interesting people. Some people are just kind of fragile, and I'm very robotic, so being fragile is like, not always the easiest thing for my brain to even understand, truly. Eli. Star Rats. Star Rats. Star Rats. Cool thing is if you have Instagram, a bunch of porn like models will follow you at some point, and you just delete their messages, and it's all fake shit, but it'll give you a follower, so you can keep those numbers. I have I think like 7 or so of those fucking OnlyFans bullshits following me. Damn, this is fucking difficult. Eli Brunner. Counts. Yo. Yo. Brother. No beef. Love. Ideas. You're doing well. Scroll. Right again. I'm also trying to get a hold of like Ryan Elsley. The bullshit is, the Falling into Nothing collaboration album. Everything on it is like really good. It's 99% good. But the first song, Take Me Home by Ghost in Space by Ryan Elsley, is fucking, punctuated wrong. It's supposed to be the lowercase for the N, and I didn't get the proper artist ID, so if you go to it, it doesn't pull up to him at all. But I do want to figure this out for him. I thought it was such a good feel for the album to start off with like an early 2000s sort of like thriller kind of horror kind of suspense kind of feel. Intro kind of like happy, almost kind of poppy, like indie music. It's just such a good feel good song. It's very passionate and beautiful. I wanted to cover it before, but it's like I wouldn't even want to disrespect it. It's too beautiful that I would rather just listen to it. Because emotionally, that's how it kind of felt like at the time when that was going on. TuneCore. Fuck. They change up all the fucking apps all the time, and that's the thing I don't like. They changed the developer tools on Google, so it used to be easy that you could just see all the elements and like quickly snag your waveforms and shit. But they changed the developer tools, so you really had to dig, and I forget how to fucking do it half the time. I had to like sit there for 5 minutes to take my own song that's encrypted into the background of the page, and you have to like take that emmed fucking code and then download the HTML that's in there, because everything runs basically on HTML these days. Tuned for need to artist detail. That's the thing, is back in the day I used to be like really fucking down the dumps, but I did my best to like work, even though I was homeless, to get out of that shit. You know, I'd work and get my food, my cigarettes, make my music and crap. But back in the day, it was especially tough for me to like keep things properly, like metadata aligned. You know, I spell people's names wrong on some of the tracks, or I'd like misspell the tracks, then upload it. So I had to take a lot of the fucking albums and redo them anyway. Need to fix this mistake. Punctuated artist incorrectly. B lowercase functional select artist ID ghost in space. And easy to correct. I might have to take the whole fucking album and fucking fix it by re-uploading that shit. Because, you know, he makes cool music, and that's what I like. I like people that do different styles and shit and have different concepts of how they view different emotions. And that's what makes the music, like collaboration albums, beautiful. I've always loved Avatar Ortega, and you know, it's really nice to see, you know, Drag Free pick up a lot. You know, it's cool because they have those elements that are truly deep and surreal visual. Like you could close your eyes and like put a few fans on oscillate in a room and just sit there and feel like you're in Silent Hill with some of their music. But you know, that's the thing, is you want to have, you know, some homecoming or hometown. Yeah, you want to have some hometown. You know, uh, children, the forest, whatever the one when four was. You know, the Joe Ramersa tracks are really unique because it has a different kind of like genre feel. It's kind of like blues rock in a way, and that's cool because, you know, if you can combine the lo-fi and the minimalism and the industrial and, you know, all that shit, you know, the trip hop and, you know, the surreal shit, you really make what sounds like a full score, because that's what was cool back then in those game soundtracks, is the diversity in tempos, the diversity, and even like some of the styles and levels. Resident Evil, some of the stuff was very like orchestral, then some of it was very synth and like impact percussions and shit. It really is cool, some of the shit you can learn in school, because, you know, I most of my experience since 2015 or 16 or so, when I really started like goofing off, because I was in middle school and I was asking teachers, yeah, I want a music manipulation app, and they was like, yo, use Audacity, it's free. good place to start out. And I did that. Then I got all the other fucking experimentation with Mixcraft. And now that I'm using like, Pro Tools a lot, Pro Tools is really fucking cool because you can get used to using Pro Tools. You can be very valuable in the industry because that's what everyone pretty much uses. I mean, I suppose I could use some other shit like uh, the fucking Pro. What the fuck is that shit? What is that shit called? The fucking the one that's on Apple. The one, Logic Pro. Logic Pros is cool. It's really fucking simple. That and BandLab are pretty fucking fun to mess with. They have a lot of good like built-in shit already that they use in a lot of the TV shows now, which is fun. But you know, I'm really cool with just using the Pro Tools and using the Mixcraft for the most part. Mixcraft, I'm so used to using it, and I already have like the best Mixcraft model you can get. And at some point, I'm gonna want to go do the full year of the film department stuff there. That'll teach me all the stuff that I need to do film industry crap. So, with my experience with live entertainment and staging and sound production and all that music, audio, visual shit, add some camera holding and camera handling and directing and producing work in that. You really can go very far being not necessarily an energetic but an eccentric, plan orientated and focused person that's structured with their operations when it comes to pulling off their missions, their goals in the workplace. They get their creative outlets out, their kingdom of power, their Griffith dream. But you don't have to stab a bunch of people in the back. You stab yourself in the back and destroy the old version of yourself to become something that's a valuable asset. You're not people pleasing the world. You're providing goods and services that are needed for the industry. And if that industry wants to use that to brainwash people, so help me, it's out of my hands at that point. My hands is just trying to make sure that stuff gets done, having fun doing it, having fun with people, having them have fun, forcing them energy-wise, like a reverse energy vampire to have a good time. Because that's what I'm about. When I'm at my fucking maximum strength, I resonate the waves of good vibes and positivity in a room. But, sometimes I'll agree that I'm very stagnant. Sometimes when I'm gloomy, I trade like tentacles of sapping death and gloom. So, I always try to snap back into that shit in a good mood as quickly as possible. Because it is good to be in a good mood. It's not good to fucking sit there grudges and shit. And sometimes that's tough. Sometimes that's tough. You want to express that everyone's their own fucking person, and they can think however you want, but still show up with a good heart and a good hand for them, I guess. And that's something that I gotta tell myself every day and every night. I gotta sit on my balcony sometimes and communicate beyond to the higher powers, to God, to Jesus, to anything that is a guidance towards truth and enlightenment of getting the mission done, not viewing people as a disease, not being angry at a world that you feel you have to be so patient to work with industries and other individuals that, not necessarily even move at their own pace, but sometimes just don't move at all. And, they get very fucking stressful when you gotta feel like you can one-man army it, but because of all the shit you've been through. But even in this accessible time of the internet and its tools, and applying the jobs online, and working on the phone, working through the computer, and all kinds of shit that we have that's more accessible. It really just comes down to you got to move at the pace the world moves. And if you're moving too fast, because you're like a fucking stray cat that's sat in there and battled for pizza crust on the ground, and you know you don't even eat that shit. You just wanted to have it. You didn't want the other stray cats to have it, so you became that animal that lived in the graveyard with the turkeys and wore the big cool jackets and fought death and stared death in the eyes and watched the contamination, corruption of life, but you watched it at a willingness level of energy that a lot of people just were so down the dumps they didn't even want to fucking try, and it would be so easy for them to work for like 2 weeks and then save up that money to get into a pay by the week place and do their best to move up from there. That's sometimes what you really got to do. It's difficult because a lot of things turn into a trap house when you live in that style. When you're trying to build your life up from shit, you notice how much people, are very self-conscious about the fact that they're doing their best. But doing drugs is fucking cool. Chilling's cool. But, prioritize your responsibilities and prioritize your success to become a more capable, more statured and balanced version of yourself. Like I said, I decided to acquire cocaine. I can do that. I'm allowed to. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Good Sir comes over. Good Sir and I are like energy brothers. We can communicate wisdom, we can communicate philosophies, we can talk about politics, talk about religion, and discuss it, not just sit there and want to stab each other in the fucking face over it. So it's like I enjoy people that are like that don't try to set up guilt traps and humiliation rituals and make you feel like you're dumb because you don't know a stupid word that was made like this month or some shit, or you don't know what's going on necessarily in all the countries and all the affairs and everything. Like, you get as political as you really want, but when it comes down to a power battle of someone just trying to make you feel dumb and foolish, just there's no point. You can detach from that instantly. You get to that point where you can go to that reptilian mind and just drop all the energy that you have towards a person instantly, and then still feel like the rain and the mist is washing down your face and you can smile because you're not getting wet. You're cooling down with nature, you're chilling with the elements. I walked to school yesterday. I walked to school. I had class at 5. I get there, the other students get there. The teacher sends an email that says, hey, no class today. So then I walked all the way back. It's a 3-mile walk. I can do it in like 35 minutes. I got this bike back here, but I got to get replacement tires on it. But I'm kind of moving like a slug to that. I got curtains coming for this room divider thing to really snazz up the living room. We'll add more definition to the dining room when I get a dining room table in there. And the dining room table, dining room kitchen kind of like section over there will make that kind of like kitchen section more like almost bar visuals, because those curtains will make this kind of like a hallway. See, I love this little fucking microphone tripod thing that I got, and this will be curtains here, so reveal a little bit of this so you can get like a kind of feel that it's a room. I wanted this to go to the end of the couch, but I couldn't find one that was, because these rods are like screwed in to each other and they're like a foot long each. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there, and it's like 52-inch curtains. So those two sides are going to be fine, and this is going to go into about like here-ish. But you'll like see that, and you'll just like see the cooking spot, because the curtains will make like a wall here, and then you come, and then you'll have the dining room table over there, and then that will come into about here. I got all the math where, I can keep everything the way it is right now, and have it really nice. Still have a table here that's big enough that, I can have this chair and that chair at that table, have it come out to here, put a lamp right here on this side of, the table, and have it like a two seating kind of ordeal. Because I really want to limit how much seating is in the, individual spots. If you're having company over, I guess it's cool that, people can sit in the living room while, dining room. I'm not trying to have it be a party place. I'm trying to have it be like a unique aesthetic, a chill aesthetic, a mechanical movement. You want coffee, you got to go all the way around, the fucking, grid work to get to the kitchen. That percolator's right there. I have the percolator chilled out. This is not even a bad apartment. I actually really like it. I got in this place because they said they have carpet in the bedrooms, and I liked that the exterior paint in the building was blue. So I was like, that's really nice. That's gonna look, really beautiful year round. It doesn't get, that much direct sunlight, and that's kind of a bummer. But I have a huge fucking patio, and I got, some fun hanging out here. I have aesthetically designed to where, I can cook my food on the stove and the oven and my little steam grill, but I don't want to get a microwave. I don't want to get a fucking, air fryer, because I feel like that takes the purpose away from really prepping food and having things that are beyond french fries and chicken nuggets and shit. And, everything's pretty nice. I got the fridge. I got the mini fridge, and I got my meats. I got my shit. One thing I check is sometimes my oven fucks up because it's old fucking wiring from the 80s. And sometimes, the light just comes on, and I'm afraid that it'll suck power out. So I just turn it off on the circuit board and turn it on when I need it. And, besides that, I got this curtain like this, give it sort of like, an Arabian vibe. I fixed that. I got some bleach from my neighbor and fixed the fountain, got all the fucking algae gunk out of the pumps and shit. And that was really nice because, that's really peaceful at night. I know not to put like oils and food dyes and shit in that anymore and just let it free reign. The apple basket, I should eat more basket, eat more apples, but I got it up there because, the basket was laying around and I thought, I don't think that many people have a basket just filled with apples. So I'm going to put a nail in the wall and put that there. I don't know. I express myself like Carrie Fisher, like a mad, crazed artist. And I don't know. I got this shit. And I got, because I'm still pretty steamed about my old apartment. I got some friends that live there, some coworkers and all that. Coworkers and friends even. And they say people are like slashing tires and shit. And it's a real fucking show now. Some of the stuff gets stolen. My bike got stolen like around like 11. Between like 11 and 1. And it's just because they had a whole bunch of like, blind spots when it came to the cameras. So someone took my fucking, Swift Zip. It's like a $1,300 fucking bike. I mean, it had like a broken brake. The lights, were fucked up because I didn't Velcro the wire down to the frame of the bike and, all the way down. So the wire was dragging on the fucking tire and just, breaking down over time. So I'd say, even though it still pretty much worked, I had to replace the throttle. Only the right brake worked. So the front brake, I believe, is the right one. That worked. The rear brake didn't work. And it had new brake pads in, but I don't know. It is what it is. And, they're using, I put the battery out there too, because it's like, what's the point? But I was advised to get this. My stepdad It's a floor one. You need this for all kinds of practical shit. Probably even let me get that off. God, I get such like Silent Hill 1 vibes from some of Raymond Richman's shit. That's what I think is playing right now. Oh no, this is Noggle Leaf. I forget who exactly Noggle Leaf was. I know they're one of the artist people that I developed a pretty good bond with, you know, when it came to talking about the games and the music and all that shit. But, you know, people use unique monikers that are so different from their name or their YouTube channel names. So sometimes I kind of just forget. But, you know, it is cool to meet these other, you know, creatives because, you know, you find out how easy it is to just talk to Kiri Mocha and talk to Joe Ramirsa and Mary Elizabeth McLeod and the guy Sihi. You really find out that, man, Shara Ito, you could just fucking talk to them and they're like, hey, what's up? They're chill as fuck. All the fucking Silent Hill, Resident Evil, all those fucking video game people are fucking cool. It's like kind of like Origins kind of feel, honestly. Fuck. How the hell do I get this pump out of here, man? This is a fucking maze and a half, huh? Yeah, I almost downloaded Elden Ring the other day, but I successfully did not. Fuck! How the hell do I figure this shit out? I fucking hate this, because I'm gonna tinker with it until I do figure it out, because I grew up with Tinker Toys, and that's just what we did. See? Got it all squantoed. That's not bad at all. But I do want this to come through all the way. I think this does like basketballs too and shit. So, you know, the next purchase goal I got really is to just get bike tires. You know, I get some tires for the bike. You know, that just makes it so I have to fucking walk. But I got a metallical, locky bullshit thing. I got one of those metal, you know, key locks. Because, those are good. Very nice. I think it would be cool to get like more experience with the film shit out of the way because I don't know. As a kid, I was interested with film development and producing and directing. You know, I was always enchanted by the different kinds of stories and shit that they got going down. Just had a little bit of light out here. I make the mild exception to sometimes smoke marijuana in my apartment, but more often than not, it's out on the patio. I want to wait until I have the living room all set up. Now, I have enough like spacing between the rubber and the door at the bottom over here on the left that I could run like a very flat extension cord out here, and I could probably put like a TV or something out here and use another Zumo box, but I don't know if that's entirely necessary. I mean, I have the computer monitor, the Spectre monitor that has one of the HDMI ports in my bedroom. I have that plugged into the Zumo box, so I practically have TV in the bedroom and in the living room. And traditionally, if you look at it as a 90s perspective, you'll have the best idea of what you need to do as an adult. If you don't really have access to like easy television, because I have to press a whole bunch of buttons and press a whole bunch of like things to have it change inputs. So it's like, it's not as practical, but you shouldn't necessarily have a TV in your room, because a TV in your room leads to eating food in your room. When you eat food in your room, that leads to garbage and, plates and cup buildup. You should basically set up your entertainment in the living room. Even as kids, we finally got a TV in the 2000s and shit for our bedroom because it was more normalized to play our PS1 and PS2 games. And PS1 and PS2 games, it was like a temporary ordeal. You really didn't want to use all of your energy to sit there and play, game for hours and hours. And some of the games that had like, 14-hour like driving cups, you could just put on autopilot and it would do it for you. A lot of cool games back then, you just kept the system running. Electrical circuits were, better back then, more efficient when it came to less corporate greed. Propane was cheaper, so heating was cheaper, all that shit. They still had coal, they had party lines, they had all kinds of things, landlines. It was cool when I saw a detachable home phone for the first time. They had the military style satellite phones, but how many people have satellite phones? You need another satellite phone to communicate with it. And then it's like car phones. I saw one car phone my entire life. I saw some pretty cool 90s, interior vehicle designs back then, like hatch seating and all kinds of shit, that was pretty fucking rad in the vehicles back then. I feel like, vehicles in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s definitely have more cool aesthetic charm. Everything just wants to look like a transformer these days. Like a passive aggressive, fiberglass robot. My problem is I become increasingly aware that I talk really fucking loud. So gets to a point that as I become self-aware, I try to talk quieter. I can't always tell if it's a waxing or a waning gibbous. I think it's a waxing gibbous, definitely. Waxing's when it's building up. I think waning's when it's breaking down. I don't know. The moon's a beautiful thing to stare at. If you look at it long enough, it looks like a cross, no matter what formation, or at least it does that to me. I'm from a part of, the country where there's so many stars, and the sky is practically, sometimes a year you can see the northern lights. We're not that far away. I mean, even that, like, more western, northwest. Even on that northeast shit, you get some cool, beautiful sights at night. And living in the middle of nowhere is honestly, I like ponds and forest and marshes and Quaker owned wholesale stores and a gas station every 15 miles. It's almost peaceful. I like the city because it's charming, it's fast, it's lively. Sometimes it seems a little dead and sad, you know. I'm thrived where I'm supercharged no matter what. I don't need to do anything to be supercharged. Sometimes it almost just like balances me out, which is the good thing. Is I get so fast I can actually be in the moment. Where most of the time I feel like I'm a few fractions away from being able to perceive time appropriately. Like I'm almost accurate with my ability to perceive time. I understand people, I understand what I'm getting on people's nerves or overwhelming them, I guess. It just bums me out that so many people are so easily overwhelmed. I'm like a big fucking dog, Clifford, storming through. I don't break anything, but storm through rooms. And I can't help it because I'm a big fucking dog. I'm gonna storm through. I'm not a small dog. I gotta change that scary music. 1 second. Oh yeah, that's better. I feel like Final Fantasy X was one of the most beautiful games that I've ever. I give it a solid 9.8. It's all the level design is so different. It's so interesting. The music, the fighting system, but the Guada Solemn stage music is very peaceful. The fuck are you fly? That's the thing is when you work with other people and shit, make sure you get stems. Sometimes the stems, you can kind of just manipulate everything yourself, and you can control the individual aspects that are layered in the sound rather than just having a master track. Told that pink sound is better for the mind than white sound is. Or white noise. Pink noise is better than white noise. And green noise is definitely good for sleep, but pink noise is good for just, creating true balance in the room, harmony. It keeps the mind calm. It has, ooh, the bats are out. I like it when the bats are out. It provides just the right amount of, energy, sound, hertz, bullshit to keep your mind at like 35, 40 RAM. And that's good, I think, maybe. And I don't know, it provides some good sound cushioning for a room as well. I don't know, white noise is just a little blank. It's a little plain, I guess. The other noises, brown noise, it doesn't make you really shit yourself, but brown noise is just like, past, I think it's between pink noise and white noise, but it's very flat. So it's like, I don't know, I want to be calm. I don't want to listen to those binaural tones shit anymore. I like listening to rain and waterfowl noises and shit like that. Grew up with the cicadas and the tree frogs and the crickets. So that was a nice thing. We had fisher cats too. The fisher cats are cool. They make interesting sounds. God. Like you never know if you're coming in contact with cryptids when you're, moving around in the woods at night. You have the balls as a young lad to navigate through the woods at night. The creative mind of white reflective tone material, so the moonlight will reflect off of the the colored, the white material really well. So you bring metallic stuff that's white and like soft, silver kind of like grays out there, even porcelain color, eggshell, you know, refracts, absorbs and refracts a lot of that, light from the moon. So you can navigate very well with your visuals, but it also makes, you more visual. That's the point. But I don't know. We saw some cool shit back then. I mean, you couldn't help but grow up with a sense of like country boy, druid, Celtic mentality living up there. People my age back then were working in logging mills, so, or logging companies and shit. We were doing outdoor work and we were experiencing the elements, and we loved being in the snow and snowboarding and skiing and making snow forts at every fucking age, gigantic fucking snow men and shit. It's crazy what kind of jackass, kind of stunt crap you'll make when the snow comes and you want to snowboard off of a swing set, swing and slide set that's been in the backyard for 15 years and you don't even fucking use it anymore, but you're going off the top of it with a man-made slope of stuff you put together to make a ramp, and just faith that your fun will protect you. You're innocent. You're just having fun. You will get no harm. My buddy Robbie, he's fixing the jacket right now. He's telling me that it's coming together pretty well. It's got the armor plating and shit on it now. And I don't know, that's cool. The idea is to really punk the hell out of it and make it look like an industrial war piece jacket. It's gonna have spikes and shit going through it, and band, patches, and a huge patch in the back. I found someone on Etsy that will make patches that are up to 24 inches and shit. And I don't even think it needs to be that big. But it's going to be in the back of the jacket. It's going to have the Bad Weekend shit, but it's going to say Mister above it. And that will be, that'll be cool. A very personalized piece of apparel. I've seen a lot of shit, but I'm excited for the end product. And that's about it, I guess. I think the thing is, I might even want to smoke more weed, which I could do. I'm saving the outdoor area for last because it's the least important thing to work on. The living room just needs, those curtain things to go up. So it's not that high of a priority. Granted, this is all credit boosting activities that I'm doing. Ooh. I took my my water machine and I filled it with seltzer water, so it tastes yummy. I got it up running cold now, so that's good. God. I almost want to do more, I might stream some Devil May Cry. But, I got all my classes now, so, I got school, I got work, it's coming in a lot. And now I just gotta fucking chill and really fucking get the shit taken care of. Ugh. Obviously, music stuff always being, organized, putting in markers and the tracks, getting all the stuff lined up for where the verses, of course, and all that shit lines up. Talking to other people for collaborations. Even fucking this dude said he's interested in doing shit. That's cool. Keep your phone at 100%. Lose track of time, see that it's still at 100. But yeah, let's put that marijuana in the bowl. Taking you with me to go smoke the marijuana. Go smoke more marijuana. Definitely will be nice to get more furniture out here at some point, though. But priorities are priorities. Damn. You know what I mean? I fought the system, man. I fought the system. But it's time to depart. It is time to go.